last week when we got together, I revealed my new haircut, my DIY haircut. But since then, I have I went and got a professional haircut. And yeah, this is it. I don't really know how to style it. Okay, this is the way I style it. I curl it and then I wet it. Very, very young. She was young. She was super young. She didn't even introduce herself to me. And then we sit down in the chair and, I'm telling her everything because I've written everything down. I've got pictures of what I want and what I don't want. She starts cutting it before I even finish talking. And I was kind of hoping, because this is what I want out of a hairstylist, I was hoping to have a objective perspective, what would look good on my face. But she didn't know. She was just like, okay, whatever, that's what she dry cut it, and then she washed my hair, and then she's like, oh, you want your bangs, this length, and she just, before we even could have a discussion, because I would have liked to say, oh, well, what do you think would look good? But no, she seemed to have no trained eye for it. I also kind of had this feeling that she just, thought of me as some old lady who wants just volume in her hair. So once we were done, once she cut my hair, she starts blow drying it straight up, just straight up. My hair defies gravity already. And so it's she blew my bangs straight up. It is what it is. I'll show you the back, although I'm probably a bedhead. I'm excited to grow it out a little bit more. Maybe to right here. My husband just recently told me that he liked my hair with shoulder length. And I was like, well, why did you tell me that it didn't matter to you before? Not that it matters to him, but not that it will, make or break a relationship. But still, he has a preference, and I want to know that preference. It matters to me. It's not because I just do what he wants. It's just sometimes I just don't really know. That leads us to the topic of the day, which is self-objectification or internalizing the male gaze. Do you want to go upstairs and we can, go have some tea and just chat? Hi friends, Stevie Lynn here, aka Silvery Locks, and welcome to Unbehaved. So today I wanted to hang out a little bit and talk about a couple things that keep us as women from reaching our full potential. And really I want to talk about one thing, and it's self-objectification. So do you sometimes see your body from an outside perspective, like your consciousness exists simultaneously inside and outside of your body? As if at some point, as if you've kind of split into two people, one that lives and one that watches you live. So I'm sure you've heard of being objectified as a woman. And there's actually a theory, it's called objectification theory. I'm going to read that to you. Objectification theory is a framework of understanding the experience of being female in a culture that sexually objectifies the female body. The theory proposes that girls and women, more so than boys and men, are socialized to internalize an observer's perspective as their primary view of their physical selves. That is actually what's called self-objectification. It leads many girls and women to habitually monitor their body's outward appearance, which in turn leads to increased feelings of shame, anxiety, and disgust towards ourselves. It reduces opportunities for peak motivational states, and that's when you get into the zone, and it diminishes awareness of our internal bodily states. For instance, you're walking around in 6-inch heels that you don't even realize hurt your feet until you get home. I don't know if that's ever happened to you. 6-inch heels 5-inch heels pretty much hurt me right out of the door. But it's like that, you are wearing something really uncomfortable, your bra's pinching, whatever it is, you don't even realize it because you're so concerned about how how you appear from the outside. That's where your focus is. Not good for us because it leads to shame, anxiety, depression, eating disorders, sexual dysfunction, the male gaze. So the male gaze is a term that was coined in 1975 by film theorist Laura Mulvey. She used it to describe the phenomenon of women being represented in the media through the perspective of a heterosexual man, in which they are sexualized and depicted as passive subjects of male attention and desire. And then we learn to monitor our own bodies from the same perspective. It's just not good. It's like terrible. It's like not even living your life, if you're living this way. Now, I'm not saying that showing up as sexy is necessarily self-objectification. I mean, even if it is desirous to a man, that is not necessarily self-objectification, because I think one of the key elements of self-objectification or objectification is that you are an object, sort of like an object in a the object in a sentence is the thing that is acted upon by the subject. There are a couple things that are bad about thinking of yourself as an object. And it's really debatable whether any woman really truly thinks of herself as an object. Like my husband, who is a psychologist, he totally disagrees with the idea of self-objectification. He cannot even fathom the idea, he can't even see it as possible that a woman would discount her value so completely that she would just see herself as an object. And and I agree with him. I don't think there is a woman who would ever do that. I mean, perhaps it exists in a very extreme form where a woman has been brutally abused in some form or way, but I don't think that actually exists where a woman truly just discounts her value completely and just sees herself as an object that deserves no humanity. So a person can be sexually objectified, which means that they are just waiting to be ravished. Ravished? To be ravished. They're just waiting to be taken. They're just, they decorate themselves and they pose themselves and they're showing their best angles and they're just waiting to be taken. Whereas someone who is a sexual subject, it's like a sexual object is just waiting to be, a sexual object is just waiting to be taken, whereas a sexual subject is the taker, is the one who is actively pursuing sex. That would be a sexual subject. It's if you are objectified and if you think of yourselves as an object, you might decorate yourself to attract something good into your life, as opposed to being a subject which goes after something instead. Like it's a way of thinking. Yeah, so just having that perspective of an object as objectifying yourself, you can see how that can be detrimental in terms of pursuing something that you really want, what you want. But dressing for success is more like making yourself into a subject that, is going to pursue what you want. I don't know. I'm just realizing that I question everything and really interesting. That's actually kind of interesting. I just thought about it. I have an aura. Ooh. I'm going to get back on here tomorrow and I'm going to talk about 5 ways or maybe 10 ways to reduce self-objectification in your life so that you can know your purpose and pursue your freedom. So, if you're perceiving yourself from an outward perspective you are just constantly second guessing yourself, and you're not trusting yourself. You're not trusting, your own desires. It's really difficult to create a sense of purpose when you don't even know what you want. In order to really be free, you need to know what you want, and that helps create a sense of purpose, gives you something, you know what you want to pursue. It helps you create a goal, and then you have freedom. I mean, at least from my perspective. I don't think freedom is, just like flying like around the sky and just like boundlessness. I don't know, that doesn't sound really fun to me. I mean, maybe like as a, like a break from your workday, but not like all the time. That sounds actually really nerve-wracking to me. So to me, freedom is having the ability to be your best self and pursue the goals that align with who you are, and basically offer your best to society. And this is a way, as women, we show up in the narrative and we make history. My next video is going to be about 5 different ways to reduce self-objectification in your life. You could be more subjectified, if that makes sense. So I'm going to give you a couple takeaways, though, a couple things that you can do to become less self-objectified. And one big thing is to consume less social media. Like, you can do it however you want to do it. You can decide, I'm going to spend an hour less every day on social media. You can do intermittent fasting, where you maybe don't do social media for, like 16 hours, or just stop doing it altogether. In my next video, I'm going to show you how you can manage some of the controls in your Instagram account, so that you can kind of control what you see, what you're exposed to. You might be drawn to people who are not good for you. You might be drawn to influencers that you really want to see, you want to look at, because you're self-objectified. We like to look at women who are perfect, we aspire to that perfection, but it's not something that we could actually reach, because it's not true. I mean, it's on Instagram, and they're using filters, and they're using lighting, and they're using makeup. They're also going back and editing, all the double chins out. It's just not reality whatsoever. And you see that, and it makes you feel bad about yourself, but you still want to watch it because you see that it's there. When it pops up, you can't pull your eyes away from it. So it's really best to just set the control so you don't even see that at all. And it also really helps normal women, like women who aren't so beautified, but they have something to say. It helps them have a voice on Instagram, because the algorithm prefers a woman who's been beautified, with filters and everything. And, that really sucks. But the reason why the algorithm prefers that is because the algorithm is actually responding to the preferences of the people. So you, as the people, can actually have an effect on the way the algorithm works. All right. Well, that concludes this video. I'm just getting a little exercise tonight, because you got to do that. You got to do that once you reach middle age. You just can't get away with not exercising anymore. Anyway, leave a comment letting me know what you think about self-objectification, and share your experiences with it. I mean, let me know if you don't even believe in it at all. I want to know. And so happy to do the research and break it down for you in a way that's like not dry and pompous and academic, All right, well, thank you so much for joining me today. I really, really appreciate it, and bye. And remember, you are not a work in progress. You work perfectly fine.